All right, we are recording. So, hi everyone. I am Sarah Barco, True Self Consulting Business Relationship Marketing, and I am here today with Linda Kaiser. Linda is the owner of Holland Tasting Tours and operator, owner and operator. She doesn't just own it, she does all the things inside of it too. So, I want to make sure to include that. So, I'm Linda. I'm so glad to have you here today. And
Thanks.
I want to give you the floor and kind of explain to us, what Holland Tasting Tours is. How did this idea, which is brilliant, come about for you? Tell us all about it. Tell us all about it.
Okay, awesome. Well, Holland Tasting Tours has been around since the spring of 2019. And so, yeah, who knew what was going to come, what was just around the corner. But the main thing that we offer is a walking food tour of beautiful downtown Holland. And so if you haven't been on a walking food tour before, what it is, they're generally about 3 hours long, and that's what mine is. And it gives you a taste of the location where you are. And that's both actual food tastings, but also the history, the art, and the architecture of the place that you are. So before I personally started going on food tours, I'm always, I've been someone who loves travel. But once I discovered walking food tours, it was a whole new level for me, because experiencing any location, a lot of it is experiencing the food. And normally when you travel somewhere, I mean, you only eat so many meals a day, right? But when you go on a food tour, like for instance, my food tour, it features 6 to 7 tastes. So it would take you at least 2 days to experience all of the places that you experience in just a 3-hour period, if you were on your own. Plus it's all curated for you, like I take you to uniquely Holland places. And so, it just would be a lot of work to figure that all out on your own, and what do you order and all of that. But yeah, you really experience a place when you go on a walking food tour. So the history behind how it all started is like 12 years ago, a girlfriend and we went to Chicago, and I forget if she suggested it or I did, but anyway, we signed up for a walking food tour and we both loved it. We're both foodies. We both love history, just kind of information, love to learn. And that's what it was. It was the food and the history and the art and the architecture. And we were like, this is awesome. So she said to me, we should do this in Holland. There's great restaurants, a fascinating history. Let's do it. So for a very brief period, we looked into starting it in Holland, Michigan, but we both had little kids at the time. Okay. And it was like, nope, okay. not a good time for this. So the idea just died, and I figured that's where it would stay. But in 2019, it was the year that I turned 50 and my youngest child graduated from high school. So it was just one of those moments in life that you go,
let me
what's
take on something else.
Right. Well, what's the next chapter of my life gonna be? And for whatever reason, this idea popped back up into my head. My friend has since moved out of state, so she is not involved, but she cheers me on from a distance. But anyway, the idea popped up and I thought, well, now's the time to give it a whirl. So
right before COVID.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, right. I mean, so many people have that story of starting something and then but walking tours, like you can still get out and do the things. Maybe the food tasting part was halted a bit, but still getting out, that had to have been beautiful timing for that part, at least.
Yeah, well, actually, Sarah, what happened was, the restaurants obviously closed, and so that shut down the walking food tour part. So, but as I do, so this sounds possibly kind of creepy. As I do research, I started spending time in cemeteries because a lot of the history of a place is found in a cemetery. And so actually during COVID, I developed a history tour of the local cemetery, the oldest cemetery, which is where one of the very first buildings in Holland, Michigan was built. And so it is super historic. So during COVID, that's what I could do because I gave them a bottle of water, a little wrapped Dutch treat,
Yeah.
and then I still could do tours. And I thought that cemetery tour was going to be just a COVID thing. Like I thought, okay, this is my stopgap measure. At least I have something. But I've enjoyed it so much, and my guests have enjoyed it so much that it has become my second offering. So it sounds odd to have a walking food tour and a history tour of the cemetery, but somehow it's what I do. So
it works. That's awesome. I love the story.
yeah.
And I love that you did it when you were 50 and that your son went off and it was just like, what do I do now? What's the next biggest thing I can take on? And you just went for it and did it. That's phenomenal. Cool story. So you, like you said, you offer the couple different options, the cemetery walkthrough, the historical piece of it. How would like private tours are a thing too that you offer, right? Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So basically, if people want to interact with others, strangers that they don't know, they can just sign up for a ticket for a tour of any day. Okay. But if you'd really rather prefer your specific family, your team from work, whatever it is that you want to do, if you want to limit the tour to just those people, you can also schedule a private tour with me. And so that has been done in, many different times. And then you just email me or call me and say, hey, this is what we're interested in. And I can only offer the days that aren't currently booked with other tickets, but we usually have been able to find a day, and then I reserve that day just for that group. Yeah, so that's how private tours work.
That's awesome. So if someone wanted to do this, okay, so like a homeschool group could do this. Like you said, like a church group, a women's group, your whatever kind of group you have, your work group, a business group, we could all get together and do a walking tour. To do it, what is the steps to do it? Do we just go online and do it? How do we set that up?
So well, like I said, if you don't mind others being there, you just go online and buy a ticket. But if you want your group and no one else, then you have to contact me directly so that I can reserve that date. So with that, you prepay for the group, and then I take that date off my schedule. I mean, off the public schedule.
Right. Gotcha. So it's pretty straightforward. If you go on the website, you can pick which tour you want to do and select it all, and it just sends it right to you. That's so great.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. And you do the tours, right? You're walking.
Yes. Wow. I'm the one.
How many miles how many steps do you get in a day? Do you wear a tracker?
When I tour, because my cemetery tour I offer generally in the morning. That one's super flexible. So that's the other advantage with that. Like if when I offer it doesn't work for someone, I can offer, as long as it's daytime. I'm not going to walk in the cemetery at night. Not that I'm superstitious, but first of all, you can't see anything. But but really, any time that it's daytime and we don't have snow, that one can be scheduled. So that's super flexible. The walking food tour, it's a specific time that I've been able to flex it a little bit for special groups. But that one's more set in stone that it's an afternoon tour. So
well, you have to coordinate with the restaurant owners and that is so much.
It's a lot of coordination.
Oh my gosh, but what an amazing concept, and what a great way to learn about Holland history and just see the town and explore a little bit outside of maybe an area you haven't been to before. And you offer gift certificates also. So like in this winter season, if it's super cold and maybe I'm like, not today group, a gift certificate would work to day, right? It's a great idea.
Yes. So those are available on my website. So that a lot of people take advantage of that for gifts. Nowadays, especially people my age and maybe older, we have all the stuff. Like, don't buy us stuff. What we treasure is experiences and time, memories with people. And so I find that really, the gift certificates are a great gift. because you're buying an experience. You're committing to spending time with people, the people you love. And that's a treasure, really for anyone. But I find that people my age and older, they're like, we got all stuff. Don't buy me any more stuff.
Right.
So that's fun. But
Right.
you mentioned weather and maybe not being ideal. The tours run rain or shine, whatever's happening with the weather, we do it. There's a Scandinavian saying, and it's that there's no such thing as bad weather, only bad clothing. So if you dress for the weather, it really is, it's good for you and pleasant to be outside. I mean, there have been days I've done it in really, really rainy times. But really, if you're dressed for it, it's still a fun experience.
I think you're a trooper, man. I'm imagining you like someone schedules it in a blizzard because they want to go out and snowshoe and you just like put it all on and let's go, guys.
Yep. That is true. It's true. And honestly, so we talk about the original settlers of Holland, Michigan, and they came here when there was nothing but woods, and our founder, Reverend Van Raalte, his wife was a fairly wealthy woman. And so she comes here and then there's just nothing, right? There, they had mud floors and they had brush for the roof and they all leaked, so when you experience the tour on one of those days where it's rainy or snowy or whatever, you're getting, I like to think of it as more of the full experience of, well, hey, this is what the original settlers went through. And they didn't have a nice warm restaurant waiting for us with food sitting there that we can just show up, be dry, warm, and well fed. They didn't have that. So anyway,
That's
try to put a good spin.
I got chills when you were saying that. So like, what a great way to be really immersed in the experience if you're acclimated to the weather that's happening where, they had experienced that as well. I love that.
Yeah.
Great point. Great point. So book on the bad days too.
Yep. Well, and my other thought with that is some people are in town just for a couple days.
Yeah.
And then it's what would be called bad weather. And they still want to do something. I mean, they don't want to just sit in their room and look at each other, I feel like it's better to still get out and do a tour instead of just sitting there.
Yeah. They can go back and say, I did that while the weather was cruddy on my vacation and this lady Linda like just took us all around.
Yeah, right.
Oh my gosh. So how can we as a community support you?
Oh, well, right before COVID hit, I was going to launch a second food tour because it's really all about the stories and the food, obviously, but there's a lot more stories to be told about Holland and its history. So I had a vision, and it's still going to happen at some point, but the restaurants, it just wasn't the time to start a new one. I'm hoping in the spring to start a new one. So but in terms of helping me, get the word out, first of all, that the company even exists. A lot of people, they don't know what a food tour is, what a walking food tour is, or that there's one that's offered here in West Michigan. Because as far as I know, I'm the only walking food tour in West Michigan.
Wow.
I think that's right. I'm not just saying that. I really do think that's right. So
maybe.
Anyway.
I didn't know about you and what you did. I didn't know anything about a walking food tour at all. So you're right. We need to get the word out. So everyone help spread the word. Linda, get the word out and book some tours. It sounds so incredible.
Yeah, it is fun. I've been, blessed by a lot of good reviews, a lot of people happy with what they've experienced on the tour. So
so fun.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that I may have missed that you'd like to share before we close up?
I love the history of Holland. Even just this morning, I was at a business breakfast and someone was saying, this would be great to do in Grand Haven, or it would be great to do, elsewhere. And I agree, but my passion is for Holland, Michigan. That's the secret sauce, I guess, is that I truly love this town. And so I told the person I was talking to this morning, I could help, like if I found a person who had a passion for Grand Haven, and Grand Haven's a great town, I'm not
Yeah.
trying to slam it or anything, but if I found a person who had the same passion for Grand Haven that I have for Holland, I could help them do this.
Oh,
But
wow.
I can't do it in any other town because Holland is my love. So, yeah.
That's a great outreach ask. So if anyone is looking to do something like this, reach out to Linda to help model
Yeah.
what this is. She's built it. It's already going amazing. How do we do it here and in other areas for sure?
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Linda, thank you so much for your time today. This was
Sure.
great.
Thanks
I'm
for having
excited.
me.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
I'm excited to share this. I will get all your links and website info in the post and in the description so that everyone can find you. I'm going to go ahead and end our recording. We'll chat for a little bit more together. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.